Let me say something that's going to make some people mad. Sometimes law enforcement will release information that's not fully accurate, and they'll do it on purpose. Not because they're lying to the public for fun, but because they're trying to force a reaction from the person who did it. And in the case of Nancy Guthrie, the kidnapping investigation, it's completely possible that some things that you think are facts, they're actually strategic bait. So today we're going to walk through what's been reported, what's believable, and what's noise. And the one timeline window that I can't stop thinking about, those 48 minutes. Now, before we start, we don't have all the case file. We don't have all the evidence. And I'm not accusing any specific person of anything. This is commentary and an analysis based on what has been publicly discussed and what usually happens in investigations like this. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Charles. Now, I have spent 21 years in law enforcement, and I've worked cases where the public, they only see the headlines, while investigators, they're knee-deep in timelines and interviews and digital evidence behind the scenes. So this channel looks at cases through a law enforcement lens, not a rumor lens. We watch patterns, procedures, and what usually happens in real investigations when information is tight. And this case, it's weird, it's rare, and it is messy, all at the same time. So here's why this case hits different for me. A lot of missing person cases, especially with seniors, they start with confusion. They start with medical issues or dementia concerns, wandering. They might have went for a walk. But what makes this one feel like something else is the same thing that always flips the switch for investigators: intentional interruption of normal life patterns. Now, when you hear phrases like cameras disconnected, devices left behind, no medication taken, no phone, no obvious walkaway behavior, that's when law enforcement goes from let's locate a missing person to something criminal may have happened here. And when that switch flips, the entire investigation changes. So let me just kill the biggest myth right now. You don't have to wait 24 hours, and you don't have to wait 48 hours, and you sure don't have to wait 3 days. That is movie stuff. If someone is missing, you can report it immediately, especially an elderly person and especially someone at risk. So when the family reports it, deputies respond. And now we're in the what happened here phase. Early on, that first response is usually about basic questions: last known contacts, medical needs, or family and friends, just quick checks. They're not always walking like CSI with lasers and tweezers. That matters because people love to scream they missed evidence. Sometimes they did, and sometimes they didn't. But early calls can evolve fast. Now, here's where it gets serious. When a system goes dark, camera, doorbell, Wi-Fi devices, monitoring systems, at a very specific time, that timestamp becomes an anchor point. And here's the part that the public often don't understand. Digital timelines, they don't care about opinions. Digital timestamps do not care about rumors. They tell a story. So even if the media narrative is chaos, investigators are building a clean timeline. When something disconnected, when it reconnected, what pinged, what didn't, what moved, what stopped transmitting, that's where the real casework lives. So let's talk about what I think is the most important discussion point for you guys in the comments. If a suspect was inside a home for roughly 48 minutes, what does that imply? Because that's not normal for a quick burglary, for a smash and grab, for a panic intrusion, and I didn't mean to situation. Most burglars, they want in and out. Most home invaders are fast, violent, and focused. So if that time window is accurate, then we're looking at one of these categories. Category A, targeted plus controlled. You know, the person came prepared. He had a plan and he felt comfortable. Option B is searching for something specific, not ransacking the area, but searching. Option C is waiting, which is terrifying because waiting implies expectation. Option 4 is coercion event, meaning trying to force a password or force a transfer, force compliance. And I want you to comment on this one. If someone had 48 minutes inside, what were they doing that whole time? Because that's the question that nobody can answer publicly. Another detail that matters, and I agree with you guys who focus on it, a full backpack is weird. Most burglars, they bring an empty bag to fill it up. A full bag can mean tools, restraints, electronics, gloves, masking supplies, something to disable devices. And in modern cases, electronics matter more than people realize because you don't have to rob a house to steal value. You can pressure someone into digital access. Now, am I saying that that's what happened? Absolutely not. I'm saying investigators absolutely consider that angle. Now, let's clean up another TV myth. People think DNA goes into a machine and just pops out a name just like that. Real life doesn't work like that. DNA processes take time. Profiles can be partial. Contamination is real. And even with a clean profile, if the offender has never been arrested for a qualifying offense, CODIS may return nothing. So no match. That isn't a dead end. It just means this person isn't in the database. And when CODIS doesn't hit, that's when investigators consider other methods, including things like forensic genealogy in appropriate situations and jurisdictions. So let's talk about the behind the scenes work, the public never sees. Digital evidence doesn't just appear. Even when investigators move fast, the legal process often includes preservation requests, search warrants, returns from companies, extractions, analysis teams. And with a high profile case like this, the FBI presence usually means bigger digital teams, deeper analytics, broader access to resources, and just more cross-agency coordination. So when people say, why aren't we hearing anything? Sometimes the answer is simple, because the case is moving and silence protects the operation. So now let's address your point head on. Yes, there are times that law enforcement releases information strategically, not to entertain the public, but to steer an offender into a mistake. Really. And here's the key. If a suspect believes investigators are focused on the wrong thing, they'll relax. If they think investigators have proof that isn't real, they panic. And if they think the public is buying a false narrative, they get angry and they try to correct it. That's how you know sometimes it provokes a phone call, a message, a movement, a disposal event, a contact with a third party. So is it possible that some released elements are deliberate misdirection? It's possible. But here is my warning. Don't let that become a conspiracy treadmill, because misdirection isn't random. It's usually tied to real investigative objective. Now, this is the part that nobody likes. The longer time goes on, the harder hope becomes. But I'm not going to sit here and declare certainty, because we don't have enough yet. What I will say is cases involving age, medical needs, no phone, no meds, and no confirmed contact, those cases become extremely urgent for a reason. And law enforcement works those early hours like a house on fire, because time is not your friend. All right, I'm going to hand this over to you in the comments, because I want to hear from you. I want to see what you think. What do you believe happened in those 48 minutes? Pick one of these. Number one, searching for something. Number two, coercion or forced compliance. Number three, waiting for her to wake up. Number four, staged timeline or misdirection. Number five, something else entirely. And if you've been following this case closely, tell me this. What's the one thing, the one detail that you think everyone is overlooking here? If this kind of law enforcement breakdown helps you make sense of the chaos, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this out. Because listen, when the public stays engaged, cases stay alive. I'll see you all in that next video.